Good morning. I hope all of you are doing well this beautiful Saturday morning. My name is Adrian Talley, and I am the proud superintendent of Indian Prairie School District 204, and I want to welcome you to our first annual Mental Health Symposium. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our presenting sponsors, Organic Life, for their generous support of today's event. District 204 is committed to providing mental health resources to students and families, and this event would not be possible without the support of Organic Life. They not only provide the nutritional meals for our families, our children, but they are very much concerned about mental health. I'm going off script, as I can do as superintendent, for just a moment. Today's event is an opportunity for us to raise the veil of stigma from mental health. It's important that all of us, all of you who are here today, go out and champion the need for mental health support. Sometimes in the past, people have looked at mental health in a very negative way. And today is an opportunity for all of us to understand the importance for mental health for yourselves, for your children, and that getting mental health support is a way to raise your own well-being. And so as a district, we have been very much behind mental health support. We have been able to receive more than $1.6 million to support our children and our families in the area of mental health. And I'm so happy today that we are able to have this symposium. We're excited to have a panel of experts here today and for our keynote session to discuss protecting our children, understanding and monitoring youth mental health. And I would just want to introduce them by name only. In your programs, you have their bios. We have with us our police chief of Naperville, Jason Arres. We have Nina Menis. We have Ryan Lauterwasser. We have Christina Mackey. We have Detective Theresa Stock. We have Ms. Allie Smith and Dr. Laura Bokar. All of these people are friends of our school district. They are friends of our children, and we're happy that they're here today. And I will end by saying our today's events will be recorded as well as the sessions. Therefore, you will be able to find them online, available for you to see at another time as well. So, Chief Arres, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Talley. Good morning, everyone. As Dr. Talley said, we appreciate you getting up early and going over this very important topic and spending the short part with us and the rest of the day here at the school. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jason Arres, Police Chief for the Naperville Police Department. Again, I'm very excited and encouraged that you are all joining us for this presentation titled Protecting Our Children. KidsMatter and the Naperville Police Department have partnered many times before on a variety of topics. Because of the nature of police work, we have a good pulse on issues impacting our community that fit into KidsMatter's mission of prevention. They've been a great partner in proactively supporting our community over the years. We look forward to many more collaborative events. We first partnered with KidsMatter on this presentation last year in response to two of our community's teenagers that committed suicide in the fall of 2021. Around that same time, there were a number of teenagers in surrounding communities who had also taken their own lives. Upon seeing and hearing about these incidents, I immediately felt a call to action. I knew we needed to work with our community to do everything we could in hopes of avoiding another tragic situation. Our police department responds to almost 1,000 mental health related calls every year, many involving our youth. Earlier in my career, I personally remember responding to these types of incidents where, prior to that particular case, parents were unaware that their child had any type of struggles with their mental health. These same situations occur today because, unlike when our children are sick with the flu or a cold, the signs and symptoms of mental illness are not always obvious. These are very difficult to detect. Add in the multiple ways our children communicate online and on social media, and it's even more difficult to pick up on any cries for help. Parenting itself is a very difficult job. I have a 14-year-old, daughter, and anybody with teenagers knows it's not easy. Add in the stressors our kids go through today and the use of technology, and it compounds and makes things that much more difficult. So I contacted Menis from KidsMatter, who's actually hiding over there, and suggested we partner on a presentation to help our parents hear from the experts right here with you today to better understand how to identify the signs that their children, your children, our children, may be struggling with their mental health. The idea was also to provide some tips in the social media realm, somewhere we all struggle, but our kids are great in, to help them monitor their children's communications for those signs. This may help with an early identification that they are struggling. Nina felt as strongly as I did that this was an important topic to partner on and address collaboratively as a community. My goal is that this educational program will help families better recognize the signs of mental health struggles before an incident occurs that requires police involvement, any involvement. This isn't to avoid the work. Our officers are well trained, and we have 4 clinicians who are top-notch and ready to assist. It's just that when we are called, the situation is usually progressed to the point of being unsafe. This doesn't mean the issue cannot be helped at that point, but early identification and intervention are always best for everyone. I am so thankful to Dr. Talley and District 204 for having given us this opportunity, and that all of you have taken the time to join us to share in the experiences that our wonderful presenters are going to teach us all about today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Arres. We are so grateful for your leadership and commitment to supporting youth and families in our community. I wonder if we can give them a round of applause again. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Nina Menis. I'm CEO and Executive Director of KidsMatter. Our mission is to build resilient kids who say no to destructive choices and yes to endless possibilities. We work to empower kids to realize their purpose, know their value, and find their pathway. Welcome to the Indian Prairie School District 204 Mental Health Symposium this morning. We're so glad you're here, and we are so grateful to have the opportunity to be here together with you. We appreciate the invitation. This morning we have an outstanding group of experts to share tips with you on how to protect our children. Did you happen to pick up a bag this morning when you registered? In that bag, you'll find a pen and a piece of paper. Please pull it out when you have a chance. During the presentation this morning, you might have a question that comes up that you would like to present to one of our panelists. We'll have some folks in the aisles during the presentation that can collect those questions. Feel free to write down anything that you think you'd like to ask, and we will formulate the questions, send them out to the panel presenters, and send back the answers to District 204 so they can be distributed. We will share all of your questions, as I said, with the panelists. So, let's get started. First, I'd like to introduce Dr. Laura Bokar to help me with the introductions today. Dr. Laura is president of the KidsMatter board and CEO of Fox Valley Institute for Growth and Wellness in Naperville. Founded by Dr. Bokar in 2001, the Fox Valley Institute has been the recipient of numerous awards for its distinguished work as a leader in business and health and wellness in the industry. Dr. Bokar received her doctorate in counseling, education, supervision, and holds a master's degree in human and child development with a specialization in marriage and family therapy. She also serves on the executive board of Loaves and Fishes. Dr. Bokar is an author, speaker, guest expert for television and radio, and has authored articles for a variety of magazines and trade journals. I'd like you to join me in welcoming Dr. Laura Bokar.
Thank you, Nina. Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome and to introduce Ryan Lauterwasser, who has worked for Linden Oaks Hospital since 2005 and is currently the manager of the Adolescent Inpatient Unit and Chemical Detox Unit. His work with high-risk youth for more than 20 years developed into a passion for working and building hope and helping others believe in possibilities for change. Ryan received his master's degree in clinical psychology from Wheaton College and is a licensed clinical professional counselor as well as a certified alcohol and drug counselor. Ryan is also the vice president of KidsMatter, and he also lives in Naperville and is married and has 4 beautiful daughters. So please welcome Ryan.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bokar. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. We appreciate you making time on your Saturday to join us for this opportunity to learn more about how to support our youth in the community. As we get started, I'd just like to reflect on this slide right here. When you had children, there's probably this sense of awe. You're like, oh, that's so sweet. They're so nice. And you had wonder, right? And you had dreams, and there was passion, and there was ideas that you had. And then our children grew up, and we saw this, and you went from, ah, to, right? And the dreams, the passion, the wonder, it's all still there. I think the challenges we have as educators, as parents, as working with our youth, really challenge us to figure out how do we continue to connect. And the purpose that I want to talk about this morning is how do we connect, how do we know, how do we guide our children so that they continue to develop in their adolescence and we experience some of the things that we see on the screen as they develop their individuality, as they become more autonomous from our need for oversight as parents, that they're making choices that are healthy and helping them be successful. So how well do you know your teen? Do you have conversations like these on the board? Are we aware of what their relationships are with their friends, what their schoolwork is, what their teachers are like? Do you know which teachers they like, which ones they avoid? Do you know what their peer groups are, right? When we talk about romance, do you know that your children have a romantic relationship with this little device right here, right? And if you think I'm joking, try to take that device away, right? And you'll see the emotional response that you'll get from them. But do we know these things? Do you know what your child's favorite color is? Do you know what their favorite band is? Do you know what they're going to do if you gave them an extra $1, $10, $100? How would they spend it? What would they do? Do we know these things? Are we having conversations? And are we really getting the opportunity to build these relationships, right? We'll talk a little bit more today about social media. Do you recognize these signs? Do you know what they are? Have you looked at your child's device and have you seen these pictures, these applications on there? Looking at the top left, right, we have Instagram. To the right of that, we have Discord. Underneath, there's TikTok. There's an app out that came out this last year called Be Real, right? For those that aren't aware of what Be Real is, this is an opportunity where you can take a picture that is self-facing and other-facing at the same time. And the Be Real app goes off once a day at a random time throughout the day. And the idea behind it is that you are supposed to stop whatever you're doing and take a photo in that moment of a selfie of you and whatever it is that you're looking at in that moment so you can be real. And if you're not real in that moment, a clock starts. And it tells you how many hours or minutes have gone by that you have not been real, right? So, and this is something that our teens are into, and it's, my only challenge with that is that when I have 4 daughters, 3 of them have devices, and it's like they're waiting for this app to go off so they can show and post their picture that day. Something for us to think about. Underneath that, we have Snapchat, and to the right of that, we have Twitter. You can see in the ball, we have YouTube and Facebook. Facebook is not really centralized here on the left because Facebook is not an app that your children use very much. If they have it, it's probably for you and not for them, right? Because that's not how they communicate. Some of the things that we know about social media is that there's been a lot of concern recently in the news about social media and the effect that it has on youth. The Surgeon General came out at the end of January, and the Surgeon General made a statement that said children at the age of 13 are too young to be on social media platforms. And he really wants to make a push to have social media up until 16 years old at the minimum. We have a couple senators, I think Blackburn and Bloomforth, I think it's in the Senate, that's trying to push the Kids Digital Media Act, Safety Act, to try to regulate social media platforms to have more screen monitoring for kids. So then TikTok came out this week, right? So you may have seen this news. TikTok is going to monitor youth and they're going to limit screen time. And it's like, yay! But the reality is that's just really a fake policy. So the idea of TikTok's policy is that a user, aka your teen, will be notified after 60 minutes of screen time use, and a passcode will have to be entered in order to continue to use TikTok. That passcode gets to be set by the user, aka your teen, right? So, and they have the option to opt out of the 60-minute screen time if they don't want that to come up. After 100 minutes of screen time, then they're forced to adopt a passcode and to put that in. However, you just develop your own passcode and put that in. The other challenge with social media platforms is that you can really be any age that you want. There's no real age verification that happens with a lot of the social media platforms. So I just have to say that I'm 18. I don't really have to be 18. TikTok just has to believe that, and then I don't have to be monitored with how I do that. So the point of all that is to say monitoring can't be left up to other people. Monitoring has to be left up to the parents, right? We want to be the ones that raise our children. We want to be the ones that have influence in that. If you want to know what your children are watching on TikTok, if they have that app, just scroll through their TikTok feed. The way that TikTok works is the more things they look at, the more things of that nature pop into their feed. So if I see a lot of things on rock concerts and bands, that means my child's watching and looking at a lot of those type of TikToks, right? If they're seeing a lot of home improvement things on their feed, that's what they're watching, that's what they're looking at. That's just the formula of how it works. So I just want us to be encouraged by that and to do that. There's a couple of researchers, Dr. Jean Twenge and Dr. Jonathan Haidt, that are social psychologists that have done a lot of recent research on social media. And their theory is that since the smartphone has come out and been a part of teen culture, this has had a negative effect on youth's mental wellness. Their correlation coefficient for the research they've done is about 0.12 to 0.15. And you're like, Brian, that's nothing. Like, I'll have 0.12 pieces of cake. That's like great, right? So the challenge with that, though, is that in health research, that's significant. The health research issues of lead to the human body is at a correlation coefficient of 0.09. And think of all the things that we've done in our society, like banning lead-based paint, because we see the negative effects of lead in our health, and that's only at a coefficient of 0.09. So things to think about as we move forward, and just to be aware of how do I be involved with my kids' social media use, and we'll have a chance to talk about more of that throughout the presentation today. Moving forward, in order to really support our youth, we need to know them, right? So we need to know what happens with our youth. We need to know what the stressors are. These things on the board are stressors. As parents, you made the list. We stress our kids out. We have values. We have expectations. We have things that we want them to do, right? As our children get older, they need to be autonomous. They need to develop and decide if they want those values to be our values. Are they going to carry those on, or are they going to develop their own? And am I okay if my child chooses a value that's not the same as mine? Can I accept that, right? So our children have issues with acceptance, social media, active threats. I used to tell kids, I used to do a lot of presentations and with teenagers, and I used to tell teens when I work with them, I know what it's like to be a teen. I've been there. I've done that. It's not too far away. It's been a long time since I've been able to say that now. Teenage culture is so different, right? When I was growing up and there was an embarrassing moment that happened to me, it was done within like a couple days. No one ever took a video of it. No one ever made a meme of me. No one ever sent it out to hundreds of other people so that I could be reminded of this incident time and time again, right? It just went away. Now that doesn't happen. Culture is shifting. We need to be aware of these things. We need to be willing to talk about these things. I don't think I had a cell phone until I was out of grad school. Now my 6-year-old is on a screen time, and she's got daily screen time that we regulate. And that was just unheard of when I was in college. You know, cell phones were these huge devices. You saw in the movies, and it's like, yeah, right? I remember the other day I was talking to my kids, and I was like, hey, call me, right? And they're like, Dad, what's this? I'm like, that's what the phone looks like. That's the shape of the phone. Call me. And they're like, oh, you mean call you? And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, right. So, right, little thing we don't even think about, but it's shifting and it's changing. And are we willing to have these conversations with our children? So what are the risk factors that we need to be aware of, right? Here are some things just to be thoughtful of. The home environment is a significant issue for our youth. What the home looks like. Is there conflict in your home? Are you a blended family? Are you not? Are there relationships in your home? What do they look like? Is there conflict between siblings? Is there competition? What are those things that we should be thoughtful of, right? What are the stresses in their life between school, work, academics, right? Home, relationships, and this last one on the list, acceptance of who I am. It's challenging now, right? There's a lot of issues with identity in our youth. and just who am I? Where do I belong? And there's communities in our youth, and I'll say like the substance abuse community, that will accept anybody. Just do what we do and you can belong. For youth that are struggling with acceptance and who am I and what do I want to be in my life, if they can find acceptance somewhere, that's where they're going to gravitate. How do you accept your child? What conversations do you have that you provide a home environment that's accepting and caring and loving so that they don't go seek that somewhere else, right? So be thoughtful about that. As we connect with our kids, be aware of some of the things that we want to understand. This predisposition, this top thing on the list, really talks about mental health predisposition. If there's depression, if there's anxiety, if there's mental health issues in your family, there's substance use in your family, our children are more susceptible to that. We just want to be aware of that so we can understand how to get them the support and how we can help guide them in the right direction. So let's talk a little bit about depressed mood and what am I looking at. So one of the things that parents often ask me is this idea of how do I know that my child is really clinically depressed versus having a mood swing, right? Because adolescence is full of emotions that just are all over the place. And how do we know that they're really struggling versus just going through a normal wave up and down? So research, I'm a big research guy. The government actually paid for us to do research on the gut instinct. And what they found is that when you observe something and your gut says, ooh, something's not right, and you watch your child or your student and you're like, something's off right now, or something's not right. That's actually based on research where your body is going through a physiological response based on hours of observation and experience you have in your life that suggests that whatever sensory information you're taking in is not consistent with what is safe or what you believe should be normal in that moment. And research proved that the gut instinct is real and that we should attend to that. I say that because as you're looking at this list, there are probably some things on your list that are like, my child's checking off a lot of these things. But is it concerning or do I just need to have a conversation, right? Are they in bed for days or hours and isolating without ever seeing the light of day? Or did they stay up till 3 a.m. on their device and so they didn't wake up till noon because they still got their 8 or 9 hours of sleep? It was just at a different time of night instead of like from 10 to 6, right? So those are things that we want to just be thoughtful of as we go forward. With depression also comes anxiety. Again, the avoidant tendencies that our youth have. Anxiety is ever increasing. What we know about COVID is that there was a mental health crisis between 2009 and 2019, the decade before COVID. We were already in a mental health crisis where persistent thoughts of sadness, depression, and hopelessness already were up 40% in youth. And then COVID hit, and we had all sorts of other issues that adapted with depression, anxiety, and all those types of mental health concerns. And so being aware of excessive worrying, this idea of physical attention, are your children waking up and saying, I just feel sick, I can't go to school, and it's almost paralyzing for their functioning, versus I'm giving a speech in speech class today, and I don't like standing up in front of people, and there's what we call eustress, which is this developmental anxiety that really helps us perform better and we can grow, versus distress, which is paralyzing and concerning, and we just want to be aware of what some of those challenges might be. So is your child at risk for suicide? I really like this acronym, Is Path Warm? This idea that these are the warning signs that we can be aware of, and when our children are exhibiting these warning signs, that may be an indication to us that we need to do something different. Everything from isolation to substance abuse, purposelessness, anxiety, being trapped or hopeless, right? Worthlessness, anger, this recklessness, and these mood swings and mood changes. The idea being that maybe there's things that are on here that I need to be attending to as a parent or as a teacher, as an educator, and knowing that just because someone's using substances doesn't mean they're at risk for suicide. But if that's one of several things on there where they're telling you they don't feel like they have purpose and they feel like there's nothing else they can do and they feel like that they don't have any friends and they're worthless and no one cares about them, and your child's home every Friday, Saturday night, weekend, throughout the week, and there's no friendships at all, there's no one they're connecting to, maybe that's something I need to be more aware of and attending to. 988 is the National Suicide Crisis Line. I'm super excited that they developed that. Call or text that number, and anybody can get help at any given time. So what can we do as parents? I'll wrap it up with this slide. These are the connecting behaviors we can do as parents, as people, as adults, as teachers, educators working with youth. These are the opportunities: supporting, encouraging, listening, accepting, trusting, respecting, and negotiating differences, right? What do I mean by that? So in our house, we have values and we have things, but our children, my daughter, especially those that she's graduating from high school, my junior and senior, they have to decide if they want to follow those values. And they know what the limits are, but they can make decisions that they want that aren't in accordance with those values if they're willing to accept the consequences. And my daughter may decide that she wants to stay out all night and that she wants to go to this party, even though I've told her that that's not what I want her to do. And she may be willing to lose the car for the next week to attend that event and to do that, right? I'm not going to fight with her, and we're not going to get physical, and I'm not going to yell at her, and I'm not going to swear at her to get her to stay in the house. I'm going to give her choices. And she can choose what she wants as long as she's willing to accept the consequences. That's to me, that's an autonomy, kind of merging into this adult kind of idea, right? So, and we can negotiate that and we can talk about that. When I talk about respecting and I talk about communicating and listening to your children, when your child's sharing something with you of an area that they're struggling, they don't want to know about Aunt Betty and Cousin Sally and about how, oh man, Cousin Sally's going through the same thing and this is what Aunt Betty did. That's not really what they want to hear. They want to hear you say, thank you for sharing that with me. I'm really concerned that you're going through that. How can I be a support to you? That sounds really struggle. That sounds like you're struggling. That sounds like it's really stressful for you. What can I do? Don't compare their stories to somebody else's. Just be there with them. Let them know that you're listening to them, right? When your children aren't listening to you and they're not following the expectations you have, and then you start raising your voice and they start raising their voice, and then you start swearing at them, and then they start swearing back at you, and then you say, don't swear at me. That's a really hard one to follow, especially from respect, because we should be modeling the communication that we want to have with our children. And if you want your children to respect you and to not swear at you, respect them and don't swear at them, right? It's this idea that says, I'm going to trust that they can handle the responsibility and they can do that, and I'm going to set limits, and I'm going to give them choices, because we do know that youth need limits and they need the direction. It can't be a free-for-all, but there's ways that we can do that that's healthy, right? So one last story I'll say is that I probably shouldn't share it, but I'm going to share it anyway. My oldest daughter has an F, and she's a senior. And that concerns me because she's not an F student. And she has a little case of the senioritis, right? And she's losing some motivation. And I've talked to her about it, and we've kind of set if you don't get this pulled up within the next week, you're going to start losing other privileges, right? So there's limits. I don't get really involved in a lot of their grades because they have to manage that. It's theirs, but she has an F. So we're working on that. And I could barge into her room and I could say, oh my gosh, you're so lazy. You're on your cell phone. I can't believe you're doing that. You should be studying. You should be doing that assignment. But I don't know that's going to help me connect to her. I don't think that's going to help her. Or I could go to her room and say, hey, I see that you're really overwhelmed and you're stressful and you're using your cell phone to distract yourself, which may not be the best strategy for you to use right now. I'm going to go ahead and hold your cell phone for a while until you get some of this work done to try to help you work on a different strategy. If you can think of something else that would support you, please let me know. But in the meantime, I'm going to hold that until you get some work done. There's a different way we can approach our kids that may motivate them to feel more connected to us and help them not feel as much guilt and shame about their struggles, but rather resort to us for support. Thank you so much for the time, Dr. Laura. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I could have listened to you all day long. Our next speaker is Christine Mackey. And Christine Mackey is a marriage and family therapist at the Fox Valley Institute for Growth and Wellness. For the past decade, she has worked in a variety of settings: foster care, community mental health, and private practice. In each of these settings, her mission has been clear: to work alongside and within the community to build awareness around the impact of mental health and trauma. She has worked with KidsMatter on several other occasions to help educate parents and caregivers in our community and around the healthy family communication in the time of COVID, as well as Aaron's Law. Her passion is working with individuals, families, and to understand their trauma stories and find strength and create healing. Please welcome Christina.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. Fair warning, I could probably talk about this topic for 4 or 5 hours without stopping, so trying to keep this short is going to be tough, but I plan on trying to do that. Where I want to take us is from what Ryan is talking about, connecting, and help us understand what our kids are going through every day, the stressors that they are facing, the messages that they are hearing, and help us shift our mindset to see that their normal lives are ripe with messaging that tells us that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we don't belong. And that is creating this wave of mental health crisis that we see. And we have a way, if we pay attention to the messaging in front of us, in front of our kids, it's going to better help us connect with them and help challenge some of the thoughts that are coming up for them in everyday life. So again, going back to COVID, we can't not do that, right? I'm going to pull out just a few things though. The first one is uncertainty. Uncertainty. Kids are supposed to be naive. Kids are supposed to have a happy view of the world where things are safe and things are good. But since COVID, I think there was more of a awakening, a veil lifted for them where they learned that the world isn't necessarily safe. People get sick, people die. And on top of that, we had this racial reckoning that came in and got the message that the world thinks there are certain people that don't belong. And it makes them question, well, what about me? Do I belong? And on top of that, we also have this constant climate crisis that is coming in and telling us, well, the world is dying. It's not a great place to be in a mindset because we're just automatically giving these kids a glass half empty view of the world. And so if we add any other stressors on top of it, they start feeling that there's no hope. It's too hard to try. What's the point in trying? And again, that is just that's the gasoline on the fire, right? It's not a great place to be for our kids. The other part that I want to point out is also just behavioral changes. We have seen a huge increase in disrupted sleep patterns, as well as an increase in sedentary patterns. And what this does is just basic mental health, by the way. It starts with a healthy foundation of good sleep, good nutrition, and moving our bodies. And I would also argue connecting with other people as well. But those three things have been disrupted because we gave our kids a lot more, just the ability to be a little bit more lax because we felt for them and the struggles that they were going to. But what we're seeing as a therapist myself, having families come in, one of the things I'm finding out very quickly is kids are coming in with 4 or 5 hours of sleep on a school day. I don't know if any of you guys have ever feel like you've been sleep deprived. If you're a parent, you probably have. Let's be serious. I think it's part of the job description. But when you're sleep deprived, we're not good people. We are testy. We're moody. We're angry. We can't handle normal stressor. A little hello can set us off like, why are they telling me hello? It's just not a good place for us to be. And it's even worse when your kids are sleep deprived because their brains need that time to continue to develop their brains, develop their bodies. Sedentary patterns as well. Exercise, moving our body, there's a lot of it is about momentum. And when we had COVID, all momentum was lost. We were home and sitting on the couch, playing video games. Since those restrictions, COVID restrictions have lifted, that momentum is still lost. Kids aren't getting up and doing normal activities at the rate that they were pre-COVID. And so we're seeing a lot of kids who are struggling to just get out there, be in nature, see sunlight, play with other kids, do the sportsmanship. They're just sitting. And that's not healthy for our bodies. All right. Yay, sexuality. Hooray. Fun topic. We also know this is puberty time. This is good. What's important? They learn so much. They're learning about who they are in their bodies, who they are in their mind, who they are in relationships. This is a very important time. And there's a lot of good that can come out of this because they're turning into adults. And hopefully we can get them to that place of healthy adults. Unfortunately, there's a dark side now. There's a real dark side now that our kids are facing. And it's giving them, it's very much the message is, you're not pretty enough, you're not strong enough, you haven't bought enough things, people don't want you if you don't look good. And this starts just with the general sexualization in the media that we see everywhere. This is movies, this is TV. We have 20-something playing teenagers all the time, right? And a 20-something body is much different than a teenage body. We have social media where everyone has the filters and perfection and all the makeup. We have influencers that are getting free things to push the perfect bag, the perfect clothes, to the perfect makeup to make you the perfect person. And there's no way to compete. We can't keep up. Our kids can't keep up. So the message that they just constantly hear is, guess what? You're not good enough. And if you're not part of the sexualized cultures, people aren't going to want you. And if people don't want you, then you don't belong anywhere. And that's a very quick switch from you don't belong to now we're depressed, now we're anxious, now we're suicidal, now we're doing drugs. Because again, substance abuse, they welcome everybody, right? It's a great place to belong. The other one that I want to point out too is the body dysmorphia piece. I think traditionally we have thought this is only happening to our girls, but the increases in the rates of boys with body dysmorphia has increased significantly. Again, because the expectation of the male body has changed so much. And they're trying to get a 20, 30-something body into the teenage body, which is physiologically it's not possible. And it's hard because, again, they are just going to constantly look at themselves and say, boy, no one's ever going to want me. No one's going to like me. My body's terrible. It's a really hard place to be. Okay, gaming. Gaming's a fun one. The themes nowadays it's not like Mario Brothers that we played or Zelda. You know, that was pretty simple. There was issues too. I mean, I wish Princess Peach would have taken care of herself and not let Mario take care of her, but that's a different story for another day. But today's games are ripe with really unhealthy messages of unhealthy power and control dynamics. It's about getting people to submit. It's not good. Images of sex. I mean, Princess Peach didn't look like that. She didn't. She looked a little bit more put together. There's also a huge theme of recognition, camaraderie. And I want to look at camaraderie because it feels like, oh, this is a good thing. People are connecting. This is good, right? It really isn't good because what's happening in gaming is as we play these games, we are actually triggering the dopamine. And if any of you know about dopamine, that's our happy hormone. So when we do this thing, we feel happy. This is a gateway to addiction. Instead, when we're actually connecting with people face to face, like if we're on a team or just engaging in a conversation, we're making eye contact. There's a little bit of physical touch, even if we're walking and we bump into each other. We're seeing each other's body language. We're seeing each other's expressions. And what lights up in the brain is all of our need for connection. It's not about dopamine at all. It's just about attachment and connecting and being with people. And you are sharing the energy of the room. You're sharing your life, the burdens, your stress, and everything feels lighter. That doesn't happen in games. So what happens is after these big battles and, hey, hooray, we won, we've got this, we're doing great, they turn off their game, they go to their room, and the automatic thought when the dopamine is gone is, boom, I'm lonely. I have no friends. Where are they? No one wants to play with me. No one wants to hang out. I have nobody. And again, as soon as we get those thoughts, we are a short distance from moving from there to anxiety, depression, substance use, and suicide. Social media. Woo-hoo. Ryan did a great job, and I'm not going to repeat anything what Ryan said. But again, for me, it's the themes. What are the kids hearing? Kids are hearing that they have to be interesting. They have to be interesting 24/7. You have to have something to give always. We have to know everything. That's impossible. We are not interesting 24/7. I'm not interesting 24/7. Sometimes I just want to shut off and read a book, and nobody wants to see me read a book, right? But the kids, they feel this pressure to constantly be in a performance. As a clinician, for me, one of the most scariest ones is this mutual parenting. As soon as we give kids their phones, have access to the world of online, they start going there instead of to us as parents for information. They don't ask us about our values. They don't ask us about, hey, I'm struggling with my girlfriend. I'm struggling with my boyfriend. Hey, I don't know what to do with this situation. I'm fighting with my friend and I don't know how to problem solve. They're going to an influencer. They're going to their friend online who doesn't actually have a positive view about them. They're all focused on themselves. They're trying to sell something. They're not focused on the love and attention and support that your child needs, but that's who we're going for parenting. And when we look at the numbers of how long our kids are on their phones, this is terrifying, by the way. Teenagers on average spend 7 hours and 22 minutes a day. If you don't believe me, go check on their phone. It'll tell you their average of how much they're on. Tweens, 4 hours, 44 minutes. It's terrifying. All those whys that we used to get, they're going somewhere else. And that's not a good place to go. We need them to come to us because we still have so much to give and teach. Because we're also going to tell them that we love you no matter what. And if you need to problem solve this. And I'll support you no matter what. This one, this CDC report, by the way, I copied and pasted straight from their website because it's absolutely terrifying to me. It took my breath away. I won't lie. And it really needs to be a call to arms for us to figure out what we're going to be doing different. 1 in 3 girls, this is all about girls. This doesn't negate what guys are going through, boys are going through, because they're going through some tough stuff too. 1 in 3 girls have seriously considered attempting suicide. 1 in 3. How many girls are in the school? Does anyone know? I have no idea, but it's got to be a lot. This is a giant school. It's a giant school. If it's 1,000, that means a minimum of 300. Am I doing the math right? 300 girls have considered suicide. That's terrifying. 1 in 5 has experienced sexual violence in the last year. And go back to what I was talking about, gaming, about sexuality piece, the sexualization. There's a lot of violence there. That's what we think sex is. It's not great. So 1 in 5 have experienced sexual violence. Again, if we go with, well, I can't do the math that quick. We won't do that. We're not going to test me. 1 in 10 girls have been forced to have sex. That's terrifying. That's if there was 1,000 girls here, 100. 100 of them have been forced to have sex. And the numbers just increase when we get into the LGBTQ plus community. These numbers, you need to sit with it because you know at least 3 teenage girls. Or 3, they're not even teenagers, tweens too. I think you said you had 4 girls? Yeah. It's terrifying. So what does this all mean? What does this all mean is it's time to treat every child, tween, teen, young adult as if they're at risk. Because if we're treating them as if they're at risk, it's going to be easier for us to sit back and go, what am I doing today to connect with my kid? What am I doing today? I can't assume my kid is safe anymore. The pressures of normal everyday life brings too many messages to them that they don't belong, that they're not enough, that there's something wrong with them. That's what they're seeing every day. That's normal life for them now. And it's not okay. So we have to figure out what are we doing today to connect. Luckily, Ryan gave us wonderful places to start around connection. And I encourage you to really just sit with your kid, get to know them. Make them put down their phone, sit with you, have a conversation, go on a trip, go on an adventure, go for a walk outside. Especially like today, it's gorgeous outside. Go for a walk, get to know their internal experience. If you have to put in boundaries, put in boundaries. And really, it's not an if, it's put in boundaries. Make sure you're limiting their screen time. Make sure they're going to bed on time. Make sure that there are safety things and safety procedures in place for everything. And if you are concerned and you feel like you're not connecting, seek help. Seek help. We have a community full of wonderful resources, and we'll find even like the police department has some great resources too, but counseling centers, places like Linden Oaks, they will help you bring your family together and learn how to connect in a new way. And I encourage you all to reach out to those resources. But again, I hope that you take away today is this mindset shift. Is as you look at your kid, figure out what the message is that they're seeing, what they're feeling, what they're telling themselves, because that's going to help you connect with them more, and for you to also tell them they're not true. Those stressful thoughts, they're not true. You are worthy just because you breathe. You are worthy because you're my kid. I love you unconditionally. Those messages are what we need today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina. So I think you might be hearing a theme of relationships today, about the relationships we have with our children and their friends. We're so excited for our last speaker today that will be joining us, Detective Theresa Stock from the Naperville Police Department. Detective Theresa Stock is a 20-year veteran with the Naperville Police Department, and during her career as a parole officer, she was appointed to various positions, including patrol field evidence technician, field training officer, control tactics instructor. Detective Stock is currently assigned to the Naperville Police Department Investigations Division as the High Tech Crimes Investigator, and is an affiliate member of the Illinois Attorney General's High Tech Crimes Bureau. Detective Stock's investigative focus is on online exploitation, child exploitation, specifically cases involving child sexual abuse, material, grooming, solicitation, and sextortion. Detective Stock brought with her today Allie Smith. Allie is also a member of our team this morning and will be available as a resource to answer questions that are sent in to our team. Allie is a licensed social worker and a certified trauma professional who specializes in abuse, neglect of senior citizens, adults with disabilities, adolescent concerns, juvenile justice, and mental health. She is passionate about helping teens in crisis and breaking down the barriers between police and families. She encourages families and adolescents to reach out for resources or questions, even without a police intervention or interaction. She's been with the Naperville Police Department for 2 years. And now help me welcome Detective Theresa Stock.
Hi, and thank you for being here today. So, as Nina so nicely gave my introduction, I am the High Crimes Technology Detective at the City of Naperville. So I do a lot of online investigations, but my main focus is child exploitation, which would include child pornography, grooming, sextortion, and sexting, which are all problems that our children are seeing. And where these crimes are occurring is they're occurring on social media platforms, gaming platforms, and other applications and platforms that are out there. So it's really important that we're aware of that. We know that our children live in a social media world. 88% of our teens have access to a smartphone, 76% report using social media, and 71% report using 2 or more social media sites. And I don't know if you can see the small print at the bottom, but that's a 2015 stat, so I assume it's much higher than that right now. So let's really put that in perspective. That's where our kids are living at. And probably all of you, as soon as you saw me up here, thought, why am I here? And that, too, is an excellent question. Mental health is not a crime. When we respond, it's not a crime for these calls. We're there to help. And also, I am not a mental health expert. I can't give you all the great stats that Ryan and Christina have talked about. But why I am here is because that's where our children communicate. And that's where I investigate my cases. That's where we see online suicidal posts. Those come to me as well that I have to investigate. And I also do have some great resources for you to help your children and monitor them. So, what are the benefits of doing this? We can look for those warning signs. You can see exactly what your kids are looking up online. You can see who they're interacting with. You can see what games they're using. Also, you can be involved. And if we paid attention to what Ryan and Christina said earlier, that is the key component, is being involved in your children's lives, knowing your kids, being there with them. And if that stuff is so important and it's so crucial, how come we are not doing that? When I talk to parents, there's 3 reasons why. They said it's intimidating, it's overwhelming, and it's time-consuming. We did not grow up with these devices, and they can be very complex and confusing to us. So I'm going to give you some solutions really quick. The solutions are going to be parental controls, monitoring apps, online guides, and the biggest one is going to be your kids. Your children are the biggest component in this. So for monitoring or parental controls, most of you probably have an iPhone out there, right? There are controls that are already built into the device. You can limit screen time, you can monitor locations, you can prevent app in-store purchases, You can set some limits on the explicit content and game settings. For that, just go to support.apple.com for all the descriptions on how to set those. Now, some of you probably say, but I don't have an iPhone, I have an Android. Android has some great stuff too. There's Google Family Link, you can limit some screen time, you can lock the devices, you can manage some apps, and you can also monitor your child's location as well with an Android device. Just go to support.google.com. The biggest thing, though, in our parental controls is going to be you, the parent. And I really encourage you guys to think about this. Give your children clear expectations. Set up an online agreement with them. Tell them exactly what you expect and what the consequences are. Be transparent, okay? They can't succeed if you don't set them up for that. Regularly check their device, only allow age-appropriate content, and don't allow phones at bedtime. Christina just talked about that, about kids getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep because they're too busy on their devices. Nothing good is going to come at bedtime with that phone. That's a time for them to be sleeping. And if they have that device, the temptation is so great for them to use it. This is an example of an online parent agreement. This is not a one-size-fits-all, okay? You can find this at the Illinois Attorney General's office. Sit down with your kid and look at it. What works for you and what doesn't? Each child is different. Each family is different. Each household is different. But make those agreements and let them be a part of it. If you get buy-in, I guarantee your child is much more likely to follow the rules when they know what's expected of them and they help to establish and set that. And many times, I meet with parents and they're going to tell me, but my child needs privacy and my child needs their phone and they want that device all the time. And so, most of us not growing up with this, I challenge you to put it in a perspective that you can understand. Would you let your 14-year-old drive your car? Probably not. You know that's not safe. Children don't have those good decision-making skills to be safe to drive a vehicle at this time. That's why 16 is when we start and we give them classes and lessons. So we need to follow these apps that take 13 and above. And even at that point, is that a good age limit? These age limits are established by these apps because they know that they're not safe for children under that age. They are trying to help you, but they can't do it if we don't follow the guidelines they help us set. Number 2, do you let your kids just eat all the chocolate and candy they want? No, they don't have good self-regulation. So that goes back to taking that device away at night. If we leave it there for them to eat or use, they're going to do that all night long. Let's help them limit that. And also, do you monitor what your kid watches on TV? Are you letting them watch pornography or sexual movies or violent movies? Probably not. Well, that device has way more content that you're going to find on, Hulu or Amazon streaming or anything else. The things your children can find would probably blow your mind. So let's also monitor what kind of content we're letting them see. There are a ton of monitoring apps out there. I just want to say the Naperville Police Department does not endorse any one of these apps over the other, but these are just a couple for you to get started if you want to look into that. There's Bark, Presido, Norton Family, Teen Safe, Family Time, and many others. But I encourage you to do your due diligence with any app that you're going to look at for your family. Review their privacy policy. Make sure that you're comfortable with where your data is being stored and how it's being shared. If you are not safe with that, the app is no good for you. Find out what applications that monitoring service is going to monitor. If your child's on Snapchat and they are not monitoring Snapchat, it's not going to help you. If they're on Discord and it's not monitoring Discord, probably not going to help you. So make sure it fits for what you're looking for. And most importantly, try it before you buy it. A lot of them will offer you a free demo, maybe a week or so. Try the app out. If it's not easy to use and you're never going to use it, then why bother paying for it? It's not going to help you again. So at this point, you're probably saying, this is great, detective. When you leave that stage, I'm going to have a ton of questions. No worries. There are a ton of online resources for you guys. These are just 2 I'm going to highlight here just because I like the user interface. And I encourage you to check them out. So the first one is Internet Matters. When you go to their first page, it says setting controls, which I think is really nice. And when you go to the setting controls on their front page, it's going to bring you to a screen like this. So you just find the device that you're looking for, tap on it. It's going to tell you what safety features are built in and how to set those. It even gives you for different browsers as well, so whatever application your child might be using. They also have a great source for social media. So as Ryan was talking about with these different icons, just find the icon you see on your child's phone. You can click on it. It's going to tell you what kind of settings there are, as well as give you a little bit of background on that application as well. Another really great online resource I like is commonsensemedia.com. And I like this for you guys because you can see at the top it says parents need to know. They have made this for you guys. What do you need to know? And there's you don't have to hunt around. You can just go by age or by topic or whatever kind of application you're like, hey, I saw my kid was on Roblox. What's Roblox? Well, you can click and it's going to tell you, so you can sound a little educated on it. Click on the applications, find what you need, Discord, Roblox, Snapchat, whatever it may be, and it's going to guide you through that application. So it's a really nice, easy user interface. There's one, for example, on Minecraft, which we do still seem to see kids on. So I encourage you to take a look at it if you have not. And all that's great, but if you don't know what your child is using, it's going to not be a very helpful resource. So get involved with your kid. It's exactly what our experts have told you. They have said time and time again, be involved with your child and know what your child is doing. So ask them, hey, what apps are on your phone? When they tell you, hey, I've got Snapchat, say, hey, can you teach me how to use that? That looks kind of cool. Looks kind of fun, right? Or if they're playing a game, if they're playing Minecraft or Roblox, oh, what is that? Can we play that together? And see. Your best memories probably of when you were a child was when you did things with your parents. Maybe it was playing baseball. Maybe it was riding bicycles. And your parents knew how to go through that. We don't really know how to navigate this so well. So let's ask our kids and have them help us. We know that when parents are involved, using their parental controls 38% of the time, reviewing content on a phone 48% of the time, engaging in these frequent conversations regarding their social online behavior 59% of the time, that influences a child's online behavior. And we've just explained to you how to do all three of those things, right? You can set parental controls at Apple and Android, right? They have stuff for you. You can review the content either yourself or using a monitoring service, and we can engage in those conversations with our kids. So if you do all those things, think how much of an impact you can have on your child and their life. So right now, I encourage you, if you'd like to, this is a great time to take out your phone. We're basically almost done here. This is your parental checklist, okay? What are we going to do as a parent? You're going to establish that online user agreement and be transparent with your kid. You're going to regularly check those devices. You're going to enable the controls that you can that are built into your devices. Learn the trends. Go to those resources I gave you. They're going to tell you what are kids using nowadays. Ask them, too. Read the newspaper, read online, and engage in those conversations with your child. And most importantly, learn the technology together. Learn and play those games together. Here are some great resources for you. It's not all inclusive. It's just some that I like to kind of get you guys started on this journey. We talked about internetmatters.org and commonsensemedia.org. They are fantastic resources. They stay really nicely up to date. The Illinois Attorney General's Office, they also have a ton of great resources for cyber safety and cyberbullying. They also have that online parent agreement that you can find. NetSmarts, run by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, has some fantastic research for going over teaching your children, talking about online safety, WebWise as well, and cyberbullying. So I encourage you guys to check these out as you continue to try to keep your children safe online and engage with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Detective Stock. That was really very, very helpful. Main topic for today is we want to let you know that you're not alone. We are all here as resources. You have a number of programs and different speakers this morning. We hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for taking the time. Also, please stop by the KidsMatter table later if you have any questions, and enjoy the morning. We are all here to support you. Thank you very much.